welcome to the CNC Auto Show. I'm Aaron Clement.
I'm John Ryan.
And we have a goal, and that goal is to give you information on ways to make your car, truck, or SUV safer, to make it more dependable and make it last longer for less money and less hassle. And we do that by taking phone calls. That's what we love to do. It's just what we do.
Yep.
And that number, 706-863-5800. That's Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10 Eastern Time. You can also catch us live on iHeart, WGAC 95.1 FM, and watch us live on Facebook. And that's at CNC Auto Show. You can watch past shows on our YouTube channel anytime. And if you have a friend that is looking for a good, reliable repair facility, I recommend going to NapaAutoCare.com. You can hit that little search box in the top right-hand corner, and you'll find a list of some of the best automotive repair facilities in the country. That's at NapaAutoCare.com. And one of the things that we like to mention is a theme during the show.
Right.
And we've got a theme, and that theme has to do with emergency situations on cars. We've talked a little bit about on the earlier hour, we talked a little bit about what you would do if your vehicle was turned upside down, what to do if your vehicle was submerged in water, just all types of situations. And what was kind of neat is a lot of people has been calling in and giving us situations that they were in, or giving some great tips on what to do in an emergency. The gentleman, we've had a gentleman call in, we were talking about what to do if electrical lines are on a car,
right,
and you were in an accident. And great tips, and I feel like a lot of this stuff will help a lot of people to do that. So we definitely want to encourage you to call in with your automotive question, but also want to encourage you to call in with your automotive tip. And again, that number is 706-863-5800. Now, along with the show, we always like to have a tech tip quiz. And, of course, the winner of the tech tip quiz gets a coffee mug. They get a CNC Auto Show hat. And, of course, the I Answered the Tech Tip Quiz golf shirt. And here is the question. Billy Johnson is a highly skilled automotive technician and very talented baseball player. He plays on the minor league teams. On a holiday, when all the stores were closed, Billy was standing at a Barnes & Noble store when a 2003 Ford Crown Vic backed up to an Apple store, which was right across the parking lot from that. And they busted the window. Several people got out of the car, busted the window, and just started loading computers into the vehicle. All right. Billy was walking to his car to get a pen and paper so he could write down all the information on the vehicle. Of course, he couldn't see the tag number yet. But then they jumped in. They had it completely full of computers, and they started to drive off. Well, Billy was about 20 feet away from them, but he did something that stopped the 2003 Ford Crown Vic in its tracks. The perps got out. You like that, perps?
Yeah, that's good.
They got out and ran, but were later caught. How did Billy stop the Crown Vic? If you know the answer to our Tech Tip quiz, you can give us a call. The number to call is 706-863-5800. Give us a call. All right, John Ryan, I had a person call in to they come into the shop and asked me this question. And I was going to see how you would have answered this question.
All right.
This person had a beautiful Dodge truck sitting in front of the shop.
Okay.
And his question was, can you take the governor off of my Dodge truck? It was a late model Dodge truck. I'm going to guess it 2015, 2016, something like that. Can you take the governor off of my Dodge truck? And I said, well, that truck probably right now, they usually cut the fuel at about the speed rating of the tires. I said, what is it now, about 110? He said, yeah, you're right on the money. It'll go 110 right now, and then it just drops down.
Right.
And he said, can you reprogram it to disregard that?
Right.
I mentioned that I would not be able to do that. Because now our equipment would do it, but I was worried about liability involved. What would you have said?
Yeah, same reasons. Just like you mentioned, and obviously the speed rating has a lot to do with the tires, the specifications on the tires. So, it just kind of depends on what his usage was. Was he planning on traveling that far or that fast, for lengths of time?
He evidently had, because when I said it normally would go 110, he said, yeah, that's exactly what it goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that would change my opinion on it is maybe he has it, maybe he plans on doing a few modifications to it and going to the drag strip or something like that. But yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can do it. There's some even aftermarket programmers.
I did tell him that.
But I mean, I think it's just, how often do you want to go that speed
Yes.
and kind of what are you doing? But yes, it can. And matter of fact, you can even fool it. You can put, change the tire size to make it do that. I mean, you can do several different things, but the most important thing is the safety aspect.
He mentioned that his wide open was, after it shifted through all the gears, 4,500 RPMs, and he wanted it to go 5,500 RPMs. Wide open. So I don't know what speed that would be, but my guess is it would be considerably faster.
That's the speed where the valves drop and the piston goes up.
We're ready to go to the callers.
Yeah, let's go over to Jeremy here.
Okay, perfect. Jeremy, welcome to the CNC Auto Show, and what can we help with?
Hello?
Hello there. Welcome to the show.
Hey, did that guy take a video of the cars?
Video of the car. No, that is a good thing that he could have done, though. But that wasn't the answer.
It. Yeah,
he actually stopped it. I mean, boom. He
Okay.
Yeah, and
I thought I'd heard on the news that he had videoed it.
Well, you just revealed, Jeremy, that this was based on a true story, and it was a fairly recent story, and people did actually break the windows in an Apple store and load up. I think it was several cars that were loaded up, but yes, this is all based on a true story. Of course, the names and cars and everything else was changed. We kind of hate to do this, though. I mean, it's Jeremy, we really didn't have a choice. I mean,
Yeah,
it automatically does it.
Yeah. No, John Ryan did that to Jeremy. Okay, we appreciate the call.
Good try, man.
Okay. The number to call is 706-863-5800 if you have a question about your car, truck, or SUV, and give us a call. Now, here's a question. We're talking about what to do in different situations that we have.
Right.
And we may not get the chance to cover this whole thing, but what I was wondering, what would you do if you were riding along, everything looking good, and a car started drifting into your lane? You were going one direction, the other car going the other direction, and you seen them coming over to your lane.
Right. Oh, gosh, that's a good question. I really don't know. I don't know that I've been put in that position. Of course, obviously, depending on how far they're coming into your lane, you may react and, of course, try and get off the road.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of variables there.
Yeah.
I mean, on exactly. I think the very first thing, though, is make sure you don't just turn the wheel and just fly off the road. Try to move over as much as you can and try to keep control of the vehicle, because just running off the road.
That is kind of the biggest mistake, I believe, is, most people overreact, sometimes oversteer, sometimes slam on the brakes, cause another car to hit you. So yeah, it just kind of depends on the situation.
Yeah. That would be a very tricky one there.
Yeah.
But no doubt.
I don't think the answer is close your eyes and floor it. But.
No. But no doubt, stay as calm as possible.
That's right.
And try to make the right decisions. Okay, ready to go to the call?
Yeah, let's go over to Colin.
Sounds good. Hey, Colin, welcome to the show. We may have to put you on hold in just a little bit. What could we help with?
Oh, killing the Crown Vic that they were stealing the Apple stuff with. Hit it in the quarter panel.
Hey, Colin, hang on the line for us.
Hang on 1 second. We'll be right back with you, and we'll examine that. And with a blowout, you're at risk of losing control of the vehicle, so be very careful. Of course, the one thing I'll mention first is it's a good idea to have those tires inspected on a regular basis. Yeah. Now, that don't mean that a tire can't blow out. You can have a tire that was almost like new, and you can hit something in the road, and it can cause it to blow out. Yeah. But no doubt, newer model tires can reduce that risk a huge amount. But if something does happen, try to maintain the direction that you're going in and hold your steering wheel and continue to press the gas. Don't try to slam on brakes all of a
That's the
sudden.
worst thing, yeah.
And just let it slow down and then drift over to the shoulder of the road. And if you're able to drive off the road and maybe into a parking lot or something along those lines,
Right.
That's even better.
Safer, yeah.
Yeah, but don't try to slam on brakes and don't try to make real sudden movements with the steering, because
Right.
that can be bad.
All right.
Okay, are we ready to go to the next caller?
Yep. Let's go over to Bill.
Bill, welcome to the CNC Auto Show, and what could we help you with? Hello, Bill.
We'll put him on hold real quick. Let's try him one more time.
Yeah. Bill, welcome to the CNC Auto Show. Okay, we don't have Bill, so we'll let Bill, we'll hold just a little bit and possibly get Bill back in just a second. While we're waiting for that, for Bill to come back up, last week a Texas man was out trying to do what he could do to help others. There were a lot of storms and tornadoes and things like that.
Right.
And the water was really deep. And as he was, his name was Tom Mitchell. He came across a flipped truck near Myrtle Springs, Texas, and realized that a father, toddler, and infant were trapped inside that vehicle. And he couldn't really physically help because of a condition, I guess, or something.
Right.
That some reason he wasn't able to physically help. But he was able to record on video several people running over and helping to get these out.
Wow.
And then, as he was doing that, one of the infant was not breathing and turning bluish and having a lot of problems. He knew that child would need CPR. So he put the cell phone in his pocket with the video still running, and he run over and performed CPR. And on the video, as it's performing CPR, you could hear a lady yell, "Dear Jesus, please let this baby breathe." And as time went on, the baby was breathing, and the baby was okay. And over 9 million people have watched this video, and of course heard the video. So that was a great moment for somebody being able to do the right thing at the right time.
Yeah, for sure.
Very good. Okay, there was another situation, and this is something that we mentioned, tricky situations while you're out on the road, is a infant fell out the back of a school bus.
Yeah.
And that was on the news earlier.
2 or 3 of that's happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the child was in the back of the school bus and moved the little lever, and boom, the door popped open, went into the road, and a firefighter, if I'm not mistaken,
I think so, yeah.
come up and saw the child fall out
Right.
and stopped and kept traffic from getting near the child, and he was able to move the child. Normally, a situation like that, you wouldn't normally move someone if you suspected some severe injuries.
Injuries, yeah.
Like same way if you come across a car wreck, unless you see a reason why you have to move the person,
Right.
you want to wait until
Especially if they're
emergency help
unresponsive
arrives.
too, yeah.
Exactly. But in this situation, with the child being in the middle of traffic or in the middle of the road,
There was no option.
yeah, he had to do something. And the good news is the child's okay.
Yeah.
Did not have a concussion, and they were they mentioned that the child does not want to ride the school bus anymore.
Right.
So that was a big thing that they did. Okay, the number to call, 706-863-5800. If you have a question about your car, truck, or SUV, give us a call, and we will be able to help with that question. And we're talking about things also that has to do with things that are emergency type situations that you might have.
I've got one for you.
All right.
All right, Aaron, you get stuck. What do you do?
Stuck in the mud.
Stuck in the mud.
Okay.
Or a ditch or something like that.
Okay. I would say one of the first things that I would do is try to rock the car slightly. I wouldn't, you don't want to sit there and just spin the wheels and try to get it out. I
And
would
bury
rock the
the
car
tires,
slightly.
yeah.
And then I would try to wedge something under the front of the wheel. I'd put it in park and make sure it wasn't going to roll, and I'd try to make sure I was safe.
Yeah.
But I'd put a piece of wood in front of the tire and possibly one behind the tire and try to give it a little traction to move it back and forth.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would call our tow truck
I
driver.
was about to say, I would just hook my winch up and pull it out. But all right, good deal.
Okay, now, so that one was right.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
now
so.
I'm gonna ask you one.
All
What
right.
would you do if your brakes were to go out? You're riding down the road and you hit the pedal and the brakes just go down to the floor.
Are we in my truck?
Yes, we'll be
All
in
right.
your truck.
I would pull it down in the manual transmission mode.
Mm-hmm.
I'd turn the tow haul feature on so that the Jake brake would work, and I would gear down
Okay.
and hope that it geared down in time.
Yeah, and come to a stop.
Yeah.
And if you were in a regular car, no doubt, in a way the same thing. You
Yeah.
you would let off the gas. You would bring the gear shift down to a lower gear if you could, and use the engine as a brake.
Yep.
In a way. And then of course when you get slow enough or get down to a lower speed, then you would be able to hit the emergency brake.
Right, and it'd be a good
bring
idea
it
to be pumping the pedal in the meantime, because it could be just a hydraulic leak,
Mm-hmm.
and in one pedal motion, that's only one cycle of the hydraulic system. So
Well, it don't happen now, but as often. I
Right.
mean, it still happens. But at one time, especially on mountain roads, when the brakes were being used a huge amount of
Fade and
times,
overheat.
and the heat would build up, and the brake fluid would actually come to a boiling point.
Right.
And once brake fluid starts to boil, your brake pedal just goes down to the floor.
Yeah.
And I did have one car that did that one time. It
Mm-hmm.
was a car that evidently one of the brakes were dragging.
Right.
It was a little Mazda. The brakes were dragging on the rear,
Creating a lot
and
of
it
heat.
built up a lot of heat, and the brake pedal did just boom, all
Yeah.
of a sudden go to the floor. It had absolutely no brake whatsoever,
Right.
and because of that, I had to do all of the things that I'm talking about there,
Yeah.
to bring the vehicle to a stop. So that's all. Things like that can happen. So it's a good idea to know what to do. And we have a tech tip quiz laying on the table, and I want to mention the question one more time before we go to the next callers. Billy Johnson is a highly skilled automotive technician and he's a very talented baseball player. He actually plays in minor league teams. On a holiday when all the stores were closed, Billy was standing at a Barnes & Noble store when a 2003 Ford Crown Vic pulled up and backed up to the Apple store and busted the window, and several people started loading computers out of the store and just putting them inside the car. Billy was walking to his car to get a pen and paper out. By the time he got there, they were pulling off. Billy was 20 feet away, but did something that stopped the 2003 Ford Crown Vic in its tracks, and the perps got out and ran, but they were later caught. How did Billy stop the Crown Vic? If you know the answer, you can give us a call and win a bunch of neat prizes. Are we ready to go to the calls?
Yep. Let's go over to Dave.
Okay. Hello, Dave, and welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Very nice. Appreciate the call.
Good, thank you. So what I got is a 2006 Trailblazer, and it's been well cared for, but and I just got it, but it's got 200,000 miles on it, but it's going through oil. Like every 1,200 miles, I have to add a quart, and that doesn't, in old cars it doesn't sound bad, but in this car I just kind of expected better. And so I looked it up, on the line to see, and they were saying I want to read it to you. It says, shut down the active fuel management selective cylinder shutdown system. Disabling this system has substantially reduced oil consumption. And they make a unit that Range Technology makes that you can plug into the system to stop this. But I don't know whether I should do something like
Dave,
this.
I've got a question now. This Trailblazer, does it have a 4.2 or a 5.3 in it?
Sorry, it's a 6-cylinder.
It is a 6-cylinder. Well, unfortunately, that information is incorrect. That would apply to a 5.3 or a 6.0 engine, or 6.2 even.
Really?
Yeah, that particular vehicle doesn't have the active fuel management. What they're talking about is that the V8s have cylinders that actually deactivate and don't operate going down the road. Puts in V4 mode, and unfortunately that is 100% correct. It can use oil in that fashion. On yours, it's a regular engine. All 6 cylinders fire all the time. So that, unfortunately, that won't apply. By any chance, just kind of ruling out things, there's no oil leaks externally, is there?
No, couldn't find it.
Okay.
It's not a drop. I mean, it's clean
Well,
as ever.
that's a good thing. The next thing, the next question I have would be: has the PCV system been inspected? The crankcase ventilation system.
No.
That would be a very good thing to do. Probably a wise decision also. If those hoses, there's a crankcase ventilation system on that truck that, of course, reburns all the crankcase vapors. Even the best oil,
Right.
top of the line oil, is still going to create crankcase vapors, and they have to escape the engine. And the way it does that is it reburns it through the intake manifold. If that hose gets restricted, if the valve gets restricted, or even if the valve cover, there's a little baffle in there, if it gets restricted, it'll really limit the flow of how much it can actually get out of that system. Which, from there, it kind of is a downward spiral simply because it gets more restricted, and eventually stops pulling the vapors out. One thing that I always remember or mention to people is once they get that system repaired, it's important to do things like a carbon clean. Well, yes, it primarily removes carbon, but it's also a good service to remove all the oil that's kind of consumed in the intake manifold, the top of the valve or top of the pistons, the back of the valves. Because say if you fixed it today, it would be a month before it ever burned all that oil that's stuck in the intake manifold, and that may not repair it 100%, but it will definitely help it. General Motors issued a bulletin a long time ago that it's not uncommon on some of the 5.3s, a lot of the engines that are aluminum, to use 1 quart per 3,000 mile interval. Now, obviously, yours is exaggerated because you said 1,200 miles you're using a quart, so that's a bit much. But definitely getting that system inspected, you may find an issue, and it very well could take care of your problem.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thanks so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Good question.
Have a
Dave,
good
great
one.
question. Thank you. Okay, the number to call, 706-863-5800. Are we ready to go to the next caller?
Yeah, let's go over to Carmen.
Hey, Carmen, welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate the call.
I'd like to take a stab at the tech tip quiz.
Whoa, hold on one second and let us get you up on the stage. Wow. I know the lights are bright and it's hot, but what is the answer? Huh?
Her hair looks nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Everything
This
looks
goes in
really
the
nice, Carmen. And okay, we're ready for the answer to the tech tip quiz.
Okay, this goes in the category of far-fetched, but here goes.
We'll call that the Aaron
We like
category.
far-fetched. There's nothing wrong with that.
So the guy was a baseball player, and I think he was a pitcher.
Uh-huh.
And I think in the back of his pickup he had one of those big, heavy wrenches, and he threw it at the thief's car, and it jammed into the tires, to the wheel, and stopped the wheel from going and stopped the car.
Oh, Carmen, you are getting really, really close. Yeah, I mean very close, but unfortunately not close enough.
Oh, well.
But you gave
I'll
a
try
strong
again.
hint for other people.
You
I'm gonna
did. You
tell
set them
that.
up.
Uh-oh.
Thank you,
Well,
Carmen.
share the prize with me.
Go back to the
Bye.
drawing board.
I think they should share the prize with her. Okay, we're ready to go to the
There
next
you go.
caller.
All right. You sure are. Let's go over to, what does that say here?
Tilden?
Tilden. There we go.
Hey, Tilden, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'd like to try the tech tip quiz.
Well, hold on one second. We're going to need to get you up on the stage. Okay. You fix your collar. You got it?
Now you're
Okay.
ready.
It's ready.
Now, okay, Tilden, what is the answer to our tech tip quiz?
Well, I had a relative who had a Crown Victoria about this same model, and she ran through a pothole at a high speed, and it shut the car off. So
Did she have Apple
I
computers
think-
in the back?
no Apple computers in the back. I don't know that Apple computers were a very hot item at that time, but this car, I think, is equipped with a tire blowout kill switch. So if the baseball star threw a baseball and hit the car in the front area correctly, I think the car would shut off.
What you think, Aaron?
Let's run it. Let's see what the judges say. There's about 40 judges around the table, and they're holding up cards. John Ryan, they're going wild. Whoa, Billy, This moment will be recorded. I'm sorry, Tilden. This moment will be recorded for years to come. They'll play that back on videos for thousands of years. Okay, Billy, because Billy was a good tech, he knew that the 2003 Crown Vic had a fuel inertia switch in the trunk just above the right rear wheel, that if it was impacted, it would cut the fuel off.
Yep.
It's like a little circuit breaker looking thing. It
Yeah,
just
it is.
click, boom, knocks it off.
Cuts power.
It's put there so that the fuel does not pump out after an accident. Well, Billy could really throw a baseball. I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
And since he couldn't find a pen and paper to write on, he looked down and saw the baseballs laying on the seat. And so he reached there and grabbed one of those baseballs off the seat and threw the ball, and the ball hit the Crown Vic just above the right rear tire at over 90 miles per hour. Whew, exhausting. All right, Billy was given a very nice Apple all-in-one computer for an outstanding pitch. And Tilden, you are the winner. You are the man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tilden. Oh, he bowed. That was good.
That's good.
Very nice. If you'll stay on the line, they'll get all of your information, and they'll
And
tell
embarrass you some more.
Yeah, they'll tell you some code words to say when you come down to pick up your prize there.
Okay, good. Great. Thank you.
And thank you. And the number to call, 706-863-5800. If you've got a question about your car, truck, or SUV, give us a call, and we will be ready. Okay, now, we are talking about things that you can do in an emergency type situation. What should you do if your car runs hot?
Pull over.
Yep, I think that's obvious. I
Yeah,
like
the best
that.
thing, of course, just monitor the gauge. Obviously, if it is hot and you're driving down the road, if you are driving down the road and it's overheating, it's clearly not a cooling fan issue or anything like that. So you're going to want to pull off to the side of the road as safely as possible and really just let the vehicle cool
Yeah, I
down.
think that was cut and dry.
Yeah.
Pull over, let it cool off.
Yep.
And if you hit a slick patch on the road and your car starts sliding so that the driver's side kind of angles toward the road ahead, don't slam on the brakes. Just take your foot off of the accelerator, and if you regain, that way you can regain control again. Actually, you can give it a little bit of gas, and that will help the tires to grip a little bit better. Very important not to just slam on those brakes when you do that.
Right.
And then look at an object ahead of you and kind of steer toward that object to keep control. Okay, ready to go to the next caller?
Yeah, let's go over to Tim.
Hello, Tim. Welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Good, good. I've got a 2015 Chevrolet Silverado with the Duramax diesel. Just had it serviced, had everything topped off, and my diff is still showing 24% versus full.
Tim, how long ago was it that you had
A
it
couple of
serviced?
weeks,
Couple of weeks. What percentage does it read?
24%.
24%. We've had a vehicle recently. Once that DEF fluid level gets below a certain level, I believe it's 35. It might even be 30%. That if it does not automatically refresh, the way the system's designed is, of course, if you maintain it and you keep over 30%, you don't have to reset it with a scan tool or anything like that. This is new information to us. Years prior to 15, you could drive it and it would reset all the way down to 0. So, for instance, if it was 10%, you refill it, the car's computer would automatically relearn the level. But as of 15, there actually is a procedure that a technician would have to reset it on a scan tool so that it knows that the DEF has been refilled. Again, that's new information from GM. We just recently found that out also. So that will most likely take care of it. The reset, it'll allow it to relearn the level that's in there.
Okay, very good. So
All
it's
right.
okay to drive it right now?
Yeah, it won't hurt it at all. When it gets closer to, say, 5% and 3%, it can actually limit the speed of the vehicle. But, of course, it would take a good while before it would ever go down that far.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it.
Appreciate the call, Tim. Number to call is 706-863-5800. We're answering automotive questions We're also talking about emergency situations, what to do if you were to have a certain emergency, and we're looking if people want to call in and share an emergency that they may have been in,
Right.
and how they handle that, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
That would be real good to have that also, because that way the whole idea is to share information back and forth about cars.
Right.
One item that we mentioned has to do with panic stops. What I recommend on panic stops is go to a parking lot, preferably not too long after it rains, or possibly even while it's raining.
Right.
Make sure there's nothing around, no light, not even a light pole.
Yeah, they will definitely jump out in front of you.
Yeah, because you'll think that you're not going to hit that light pole, but you will. So keep everything, be away from everything, and see what a panic stop feels like with your car. Cause
another tip with that is as far as if you're talking about, you want them to feel what ABS.
Feel the anti-lock brake
A gravel
system.
parking lot does that really, really good.
That would be good also. Yeah, because that way it won't surprise you when you feel the anti-lock brakes activate.
Right. A lot of times when we do an ABS repair, of course the shop there's everywhere has something like this, but once we do an ABS repair, of course we bleed it with the scan tool and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of times we want to confirm that it works. Well, luckily we have a gravel parking lot very closely to us, so we always try it right there too.
Yeah, you can get the feel of it. You ready to go to the calls?
Yeah, let's go over to Milton.
Perfect. Hello, Milton, and welcome to the CNC Auto Shop.
Hey, good morning, Aaron. John Wright. How are y'all this morning?
Very nice.
I've got a road incident scenario to run past you and see what you would do. You're driving down the road, and you can tell me if I did the right thing, but you're driving down the road, and your gas tank falls off.
Ooh.
And what fall off?
Your gas tank?
Oh, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I don't think that's ever happened to me, Milton.
Well, this was this was years ago now, but it was a work truck, and we had just had a service bed put on it.
All right.
And the company that did the work evidently didn't mount the gas tank quite right.
Not evidently.
No, they did not.
So, and I had just filled it up with fuel, and I'm driving down the road and hear this bang and the scraping noise, and got out and looked under there, and there it was, stuck in front of the rear axle because it couldn't get past that.
Wow.
So I had some stuff in the truck. I backed up just a little bit, drove the one tire up on to this material that I had, drug the gas tank out, unhooked the fuel line, put it in the passenger seat, and rerouted the fuel line through the hood and in the window, and drove home.
Milton, I gotta say, I'd love to have been there for that.
Now, Milton, your last name's MacGyver, right? Milton MacGyver. I don't think I've ever done that, and honestly,
And Milton, you asked if we would ever do that. No, we have a tow truck.
I don't think that would cross my mind.
Well,
Milton, so you were riding in this vehicle with the gas tank sitting next to you. You didn't have anybody with you that smoked or anything, did you?
He was probably smoking from the sound of it.
No, I can't really recommend riding around with a gas tank in the passenger seat. And
I can hear it now. Don't push the cigarette lighter.
I didn't have too far to go, but I took it real easy.
Did you put your passenger where the fuel tank went?
I was missing the passenger, thankfully.
Milton, I appreciate that. I'm gonna be thinking about that one all weekend
For sure.
All right.
Yeah, I think I was 16 at the time, and had just started driving officially.
Yeah.
And
you said you don't know if this is going to be for me, didn't you?
That was a real initiation there.
All right.
Great story, Milton.
Milton, thank you for the call.
Have a good one.
Hey,
Thank
John
you.
Ryan.
Great show.
Thank you. Let's try to squeeze Jerry?
Yep.
Hey, Jerry, do you mind being squeezed in?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Beautiful. We're ready for your question.
A Chrysler van, 2002, and it's got 160,000 miles on it. But it's got a bad miss. Sitting there idling is fine, but when you put it in drive, it's got a miss, and it gets worse the longer you drive it.
Jerry, does the check engine light flash at all?
It had a check engine light on, but it's all gone now.
It is?
After it was reset.
After it was reset or the bulb was taken out?
No.
How did you reset it, Jerry?
An 8th drill bit will do that
usually
for
take
you.
the battery loose.
Right.
You know, take the battery loose.
Jared,
but put a new computer on it, and it still doesn't. And it had one broke a plug, so replace that. I don't know what else to do.
Right. Jerry, so evidently it does it all the time. Like you mentioned, it idles fine. You put it in drive, and just about every time you go drive it, it misfires?
Sometimes it's worse than others.
Okay. Have they narrowed it down to a particular cylinder or anything like that?
No.
No. Does it use any coolant?
Does it use any coolant?
Yeah, does the coolant fluctuate?
No.
Okay. Well, I can tell you what a technician would do in that instance. Of course, that being a 6-cylinder, they would hook a lab scope up to it and see the firing lines of all 6 cylinders. And, of course, if it is a misfire on the ignition side, they would see that. For instance, like you mentioned, the plug wire or the plug, it could be a plug wire. And also, those vans were pretty bad about the ignition coil not delivering spark to certain cylinders under a load. Like you mentioned, at idle, it does okay because the engine's not loaded. It's really not even hardly working, so that would be one thing. And then
ignition coil.
Yeah, ignition coil would be one thing, but if
and that'd probably be the most likely.
Yeah, it'd be most likely. I mean, there's some injector issues and stuff like that.
Sometimes injectors.
Normally, they would definitely cause an issue more like at idle also.
Yeah. Jerry, by far the most common ones.
One injector.
Yeah, and those are the most common things. Now, worst case scenario, you could have something like a valve spring or something like that weak, not letting it work. But by far the most common. But the first step is going to be identify that cylinder, which one it is, and then attack it. What's it missing? Is it missing fuel? Is it missing compression? Is it missing ignition?
Yep.
And then that'll let you know what's going on.
Well, Jerry, we're out of time.
Oh, we are out of time. And we want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in to the CNC Auto Show.